श्री सद्गुरुदेव की जय। सद्गुरु वर्ल्ड की ओर से पार्थ सेजपाल का प्रणाम। श्री सद्गुरुदेव श्री रणछोड़दास जी महाराज के परिचय की एक झलक। भारत के मध्य प्रदेश के ग्वालियर स्टेट के अंतर्गत बसे छोटे गांव बाइफल में प्रागट्य। बाल उम्र से ही संसार के प्रति अरुचि के कारण गृह त्याग। पयाहारी संत पूज्य बाल कृष्णदास जी से वैराग्य की दीक्षा। योग में रुचि के कारण साधना द्वारा समाधि तक की तपस्या। सभी धार्मिक ग्रंथों का अध्ययन। चित्रकूट में श्री हनुमान जी की आराधना पश्चात उनके दर्शन आशीर्वाद की प्राप्ति। चित्रकूट स्थित जानकी कुंड में संत सेवा और निष्काम कर्म योग का सन 1950 में श्री नेत्र यज्ञ द्वारा प्रारंभ। भारत भ्रमण। प्रभु श्री राम में अटल अचल निष्ठा। विशाल शिष्य समुदाय को मानव सेवा ही ईश्वर सेवा का आचरणमय बोध। सभी के तन मन और धन को इसी मानव सेवा की ओर मोड़ देना। राम नाम जाप के साथ साथ श्री रामचरितमानस जी के नित्य पाठ की शिष्यों को शिक्षा देना। आदि आदि आप श्री के चरित्र के अनमोल पहलू हैं। बहुमुखी प्रतिभा के धनी, तपस्वी, मानवता प्रेमी, सहृदयी, अकिंचन, प्राणी मात्र में ईश्वर दर्शन करने वाले संत शिरोमणि परम पूज्य श्री 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 1008 सद्गुरुदेव श्री रणछोड़दास जी महाराज तारीख 19 अप्रैल 1970 को मुंबई में ब्रह्मलीन हो गए। मानव सेवा का जो बीज आप श्री ने बोया था सो आज वट वृक्ष बन गया है। चित्रकूट के अलावा राजकोट, आनंदपुर, वांसदा आदि स्थानों पर भी इसकी शाखाएं फैल चुकी हैं। तमाम शिष्य समुदाय इस सेवा कार्य में निष्ठापूर्वक संलग्न है। पूज्य श्री गुरुदेव कल भी हमारे बीच थे, आज भी एक चैतन्य सत्ता के रूप में हमारे साथ विद्यमान हैं और कल भी रहेंगे। हे मेरे गुरुदेव, ये समस्त सद्गुरु की दुनिया, ये सद्गुरु वर्ल्ड आपका ही है। आप श्री के द्वारा दी गई शिक्षा दीक्षा, आपकी कृपा व आपके बोध वचनों का प्रचार प्रसार इस सद्गुरु वर्ल्ड चैनल का लक्ष्य है। आशीर्वाद दीजिए प्रभु। आपकी कृपा सदैव बरसती रहे। आपका रक्षा कवच सभी को सुरक्षा प्रदान करता रहे और हमें सदैव भक्ति पथ पर, सेवा पथ पर अग्रसर रहने के लिए आप श्री प्रेरित करते रहें, ऐसी आपके श्री चरणों में प्रार्थना है। हे गुरुवर, आपके श्री चरणों में साष्टांग दंडवत है। श्री सद्गुरुदेव की जय। सुश्री दमयंतीबेन सेजपाल का परिचय। 20 नवंबर 1958 को मुंबई सेंट्रल रेलवे स्टेशन पर सुश्री दमयंतीबेन सेजपाल को पूज्य श्री गुरुदेव के प्रथम दर्शन का सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ। उस रोज अंतः प्रेरणा एवं श्री गुरुदेव के तीव्र आकर्षण के कारण वे शिवनी नेत्र यज्ञ के निमित्त पूज्य श्री के सानिध्य के लिए निकल पड़ी। वहां 15 दिन तक मरीजों की सेवा का और पूज्य श्री के दर्शन का लाभ पाया। तारीख 25 नवंबर 1959 को सतना नेत्र यज्ञ के दौरान पूज्य गुरुदेव ने श्री दमुबेन को मंत्र दीक्षा दी और निज सेवा में स्थान दे दिया। तब से वे पूर्ण रूप से श्री चरणों में समर्पित रही है। गत 50 वर्षों में श्री दमुबेन का कहना है कि एक दिन भी आपने अकेलापन महसूस नहीं किया है। हमेशा ऐसी अनुभूति हो रही है कि पूज्य गुरुदेव आपके साथ ही हैं। उनका रक्षा कवच बनकर सदैव उनको संभालते हैं। सन 1970 के बाद गुरु भक्तों के आग्रह से आपने मानव दृष्टि, मारा गुरुदेव, पत्र प्रसाद, गुरुवाष्टक स्तोत्र, बाल गोष्ठी, हनुमान चालीसा, प्रभु प्रार्थना, सुंदरकांड का सार तत्व, गुरुदेव या देव आदि ग्रंथ लिखे हैं। श्री दमयंतीबेन की पूज्य गुरुदेव के चरणों में यही प्रार्थना है कि आपका शेष जीवन श्री हरि गुरु सुमिरन में बीते और श्री गुरुदेव की कृपा अहर्निश सब पर बरसती रहे।
जय भगवान की। आदरणीय गोवर्धन दास पप्पा के साथ हमारा पारिवारिक रिश्ता रहा। हमारी दीदी सुश्री दमू बहन को वे अपनी बेटी मानते थे। वे दीदी के साथ जब भी बैठते मानस जी एवं श्री गुरुदेव के बारे में चर्चा करते। दीदी द्वारा प्रकाशित पुस्तक मारा गुरुदेव पढ़कर आप बहुत प्रभावित हुए और पूज्य गुरुदेव के प्रति उनके मन में अपार आस्था का उदय हुआ। आप संस्कृत और अंग्रेजी के स्कॉलर थे। दीदी ने उनसे अनुरोध किया कि हमारी भावी पीढ़ी के लिए, यंग जनरेशन के लिए वे मारा गुरुदेव का अंग्रेजी अनुवाद करें। उन्होंने प्रसन्नतापूर्वक हामी भर दी और 6 महीने के भीतर ही माय गुरुदेव को प्रकाशित करके पूज्य गुरुदेव एवं गुरु शिष्यों को समर्पित कर दिया। माय गुरुदेव को स्वर दिया है आमन्या आदित्य सेजपाल और सात्विक आदित्य सेजपाल ने। पूज्य गुरुदेव को समर्पित मेरे और आदित्य के दादाजी स्वर्गस्थ वालजी भाई सेजपाल के परिवार में जन्म लेने के कारण इन दोनों बच्चों को बचपन से ही पूज्य गुरुदेव में अपार आस्था और श्रद्धा है। इस कारण माय गुरुदेव की रीडिंग के लिए दोनों तुरंत तैयार हो गए। वे अभी छात्र हैं, सो उनकी यदि कोई क्षति हो गई हो तो श्रोतागण उदार मन से श्रवण करेंगे, ऐसी आशा है। गोवर्धन दास पप्पा की इस अनमोल सेवा के लिए ऋण स्वीकार करते हुए सद्गुरु वर्ल्ड उन्हें प्रणाम करता है। जय गुरुदेव।
शिरोमणि मंगल कारण करुणा सागर हो संत शिरोमणि हो संत शिरोमणि मंगल कारण करुणा सागर हो गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव दीन दयाला गुरुदेव परम कृपाला ओ गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव ओ मोह माया માં લપટાયા છીએ મોહ માયામાં લપટાયા છીએ રાગ દ્વેષમાં રાચી રહ્યા છીએ રાગ દ્વેષમાં રાચી રહ્યા છીએ વિનતી સુણો તમે પાય પડી શરણાગતને ઉગારો વિનતી સુણો ગુરુદેવ પાય પડી શરણાગતને ઉગારો ઓ ગુરુદેવ જય ગુરુદેવ ગુરુદેવ દીન દયાલા ગુરુદેવ પરમ કૃપાલા ઓ ગુરુદેવ જય ગુરુદેવ શ્રી સદગુરુદેવ તમે રાખો લાજ અમારી શિષ્યોની ભક્તોની ગુરુદેવ દીન દયાળા ગુરુદેવ પરમ કૃપાળા ઓ ગુરુદેવ જય ગુરુદેવ શ્રી સદગુરુદેવ તમે રાખો લાજ અમારી શિષ્યોની ભક્તોની ગુરુદેવ દીન દયાલા ગુરુદેવ પરમ કૃપાલા ગુરુદેવ દીન દયાળા 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 ગુરુદેવ પરમ કૃપાલા ગુરુદેવ દીન દયાલા ગુરુદેવ પરમ કૃપાલા.
Translator's Notes. Behold how shines that weak and solitary candle in the encircling darkness. So shines a good man in this naughty world. Gurudev was much more than a candle, perhaps the sun, and therefore his life and works have shone and are still providing a shining example, and shall continue to do so for all time to come. Having paid my homage to the great saint, let me put in a word of caution. If you know both Gujrati and English equally well, then put down this book. Go out and find out the Gujrati version, because I have translated Damuben's magnum opus with great hesitation and due to limitations in translation on account of the following factors. Compared to Damuben's well-read and scholarly vocabulary in 3 languages, Gujrati, Sanskrit and Awadhi, and the fact that on spiritual matters, compared to our own indigenous similes, metaphors and idioms, English can never be an adequate substitute. Secondly, on certain occasions, due to our being accustomed to the speed of remote-controlled, fast-changing TV channels, the narrative may appear stilted and even disjointed due to slow pace at certain places. However, I have put in my best efforts And even if one out of 1,000 children of original devotees who has not been able to read the book in Gujarati, and now if he can read this book and derive inspiration from Gurudev's life to advance a little faster on the spiritual path, then my efforts would not be in vain. I humbly ask for forgiveness in advance. If inadvertently at certain places, the reverential prefixes of Shri, Pujya, and suffixes of Bhai and Ji have been dropped. I have put certain untranslatable and spiritual and religious words in italics, or retained them as they are. On account of limitations of abridgment, certain incidents and narratives have been dropped, for which I may kindly be excused. I am thankful to Shri Nimeshbhai Kheraj Charla of Nikita Printers for his cooperation and unstinted support, for having permitted me to do several corrections from time to time. As a humble effort of mine, I put this translated and abridged version in the hands of the present generation of Gurudev's disciples, quoting an Urdu couplet. I make mistakes due to my faith in your forgiving nature, O merciful God. You are my master, and I am an erring, yet humble servant of thine and thine alone. Govardhandas B. Suchak.
My Gurudev by Damayanti Sejpal. Shri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Preface. Ben, what are you writing next? Pujya Shri Madhav Lal Bhai Acharya of Shri Ranchoddasji Pathshala asked. I gave a short reply. Nothing. I have already given all important extracts of Shri Gurudev's speeches in the book Manav Drishti. How strange, he said, refusing to be put off by such a reply, and added, after being so close to Gurudev for 12 long years, how can you say such a thing? And continued, write about what you might have heard from him and experienced about his sublime and divine deeds. Write about his characteristics, his principles, his work of social welfare, because this act of yours will itself be a service unto him. I left without giving any commitment. But his remarks set my mind in a whirl. Whatever one could write about the saint who in his lifetime had so influenced people that they called him Bhagwan, would still be far short of the real thing. However, for me, the attempt to write about him with my limited powers of narration and experience would be like setting a mosquito to measure the extent of the infinite space. But Acharya Shri persisted with his inquiries and encouragement. At last, his inspiration and good wishes made me take up the pen. The first help came from Haricharan Dasji Maharaj of Ram Mandir at Gondal, who had the good fortune during last 22 years to be in Gurudev's presence and observe his miraculous prowess at first hand. Pujya Shri was maintaining a notebook, and with the words, "You may use this material as you may deem fit," he handed it over to me, and I am extremely grateful to him for his generous assistance. After that, several devotees from Gurudev's inner circle spoke to me. Some of them called him by the fond name Mama, while for the others he had become Mamaji on his own. Since Gurudev's love and adoration for all was equal and without distinction or discrimination, after narrating their experiences, each one would say with emotion, "Ben, I do not think that anyone else had the good fortune of obtaining so much love and affection as I have obtained from Bapu. Be it rich or poor, learned or ignorant, villager or city dweller, I never came across a single person who said that Bapu was not mine and he did not love me. So universal was the power and potentiality of his love. He had innumerable disciples. I have been able to talk only to a few of them. Yet I can say it with certainty that each one of his devotees must have experienced the sublime love and power of Gurudev's magnetic personality to some extent. Pujya Shri's personality can be compared with the sun, the light and warmth of which is available to all who are desirous of obtaining it. I heartily thank all those devotees who have given me material for this book, along with their good wishes. I am also grateful to Shri Krishna Shankar Shastriji and Kumari Geeta Devi for their unstinted support. On account of your keen interest and reverence for Sri Gurudev's life, so far 6 editions have been published. Many of our younger generation have approached me to explore the possibilities of having an English translation, an abridged version of the book, saying that they are not so proficient in Gujarati or Hindi. I requested Sri Gordhan Das Bhai, a civil engineer by profession, and he readily acceded to my request and has done an admirable job as his reverential offering to Sri Gurudev. In the original Gujarati, I have headed and even ended most chapters with a couplet from the Ramayana or similar devotional literature, because the same was dear to Gurudev's heart. The translator, maintaining this tradition, has quoted, where appropriate, in or at the end of a chapter, a couplet or quotation from English and other literary or philosophical works of poets and thinkers. In his translator's notes, he has clarified certain points consequent upon abridgment and limitations due to translation from Gujarati to English, and I request the readers to take special note of the same. Let me make one essential clarification. Whatever that you may find good, readable, and worthy of emulation in the book is that of Sri Gurudev, and on account of his infinite grace, but whatever that may be disjointed or inappropriate may kindly be forgiven as my own deficiency. I will never be able to forget, even for a moment, the powerful, compassionate, generous, and adoring personality of Gurudev. His love for the oppressed can never be matched, but we can only try to emulate him and continue his good work. I will end with the humble prayer. May Gurudev's benign grace and blessings be showered on all of us. Jai Bhagwan. Writers, there were many in thy hall, yet thou commanded me to write, and with the far-spreading wings of my thoughts, I touched thy feet, which I could never aspire to reach. Gitanjali. My Gurudev by Damayanti Sejpal. Chapter 1. A Saint is Born. Of saintly race by birth, but nobler yet in his own worth. Ours is a holy land, in which even God prefers to take birth. Though God is formless and the essence of all things, yet on certain occasions he chooses to manifest himself in human form as a saint. Then, having strengthened the basis of religious faith, and after giving immense ecstatic joy to his devotees who follow the ninefold path of devotion, he leaves our world once again. Such saints are not bound by national or ethnic boundaries, and they may manifest themselves at any period of time and in any country. The family of their birth is blessed indeed, their mother twice so, because having given birth to such divinity, she gets liberation from this endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Sant Shiromani Bhagwan, Shri Ranchoddasji Maharaj, was born in a Maharashtrian Brahmin family in a small village, Pifal, in central Indian state, several centuries ago. The exact time is not known. Let me say right here and now to the scientific and logically inclined people about all miraculous incidents in the book. For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who do not believe, no proof is enough. On Kartik Chaturthi of Shukla Paksha, since his grandfather was chief priest of Gwalior state, his birth was celebrated in public. In this festival, an unknown artisan came, saw the child, and having gifted an idol of Sri Ram, he quietly departed, as if he had come from nowhere. This unusual gift of an idol, instead of toys, sweets, clothes, etc., for a child, puzzled everyone. At the time of Sri Ram's birth in Ayodhya, Lord Shiva came for darshan in the guise of an astrologer, and after predicting his bright and brilliant destiny and telling it to Mata Kaushalya, he too had departed in a similar manner. It seems as though this incident was repeated on Gurudev's birth. Some divinity came to have a glimpse of the child, and by gifting an idol of Sri Ram, hinted at the fact that in Anshavatar form, the self-same Ram was present in this child, and that the child would further the works of Sri Ram in the field of social welfare and propagate devotion to the Lord among his followers. On the 12th day of Namkaran, to add spice to the sugar, Pujya Shri was named as Ram Rao. How significant! Gift of an idol, name of Narayana, Ram, and all of the child's future activities were for and on behalf of the Almighty Lord. When the child started baby talk, the first words uttered by him were Ram Ram. As he grew up, the child considered that the chanting of Ram Nam with ecstasy was the only worthwhile activity. The mother too felt likewise. Events passed in quick succession before her simple mind's eye. The unknown artisan's visit, the gift of an idol, and now the child's innocent baby talk and chanting. Despite his tender age of 10, and notwithstanding the fact that his parents, his elder brother, and adorable younger sister loved him, Gurudev decided to leave Bifal and his family for good. By hindsight, we may rationalize such an unusual act in Gurudev's own words. I left because of my disinterest in worldly pleasures, exclusive love of God and compassion for suffering of others. Once I saw a man torturing another. The sight depressed me so much that I decided to leave at once. I do not remember anything more beyond that. Truly, the poet says, "It grieves the saints when they do see what man has done to man." Jai Shri Ram.